All right, welcome everybody to the information session for the Netherlands Study Abroad program for spring quarter 2024. My name is Megan Swanson. I'm one of the study abroad coordinators here at Green River College. And with me today, we have Andres, Sarah, and Stephanie. So Andres, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Sure, thank you, Megan. My name is Andres Montaño, and I'm an International Education Program Manager here at Green River College, also a study abroad coordinator. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Hoffman. I teach biology here at Green River, and I'll be teaching a one-credit course with this program.
And my name is Sarah Keene, and I'm going to be teaching the 5-credit course, the Sociology of Food course.
Thank you all. So a quick agenda for this meeting. We did our intros. We'll give an overview of the program, what you'll be studying, what you'll be doing on the travel portion of the trip, what the costs are, how to sign up, a little bit of info about scholarships and financial aid that you can use to help cover the costs, and any time for Q&A and closing summary at the end. So the Netherlands Study Abroad program is a spring program, and there will be a trip involved. It's a 1-week-long trip from June 20th to June 27th. And that is actually after spring quarter ends. So I think finals end on June 17th. So the prerequisite to participate in this trip to the Netherlands is that you take 2 classes taught by Dr. Hoffman and Dr. Keene. And those are going to be Sociology 202, Sociology of Food. That's the 5-credit course that Sarah just mentioned. And then Biology 194, a special topics in biology class for 1 additional credit. So it's a total of 6 credits that you take during spring quarter along with your other regular classes. It's a normal class taught on campus or hybrid style. And Sarah and Stephanie are going to explain what you can expect in the actual course before you go and while you travel.
All right, I'll start us off with the 202 course, the Sociology of Food. So this course is actually going to be conducted as a COIL course. It's a collaborative online international learning course. And we're going to be doing that with students, Dutch students at Leiden University. So because our semesters are a little bit different, they're on the semester schedule, we're on the quarter schedule. So they're going to be joining us. We'll be joining them the first half of the course, and we'll be working on a project together around case studies around food and food systems. And then after that, we're going to finish the rest of the course as just a regular in-person course. And we'll also have a really exciting sort of home abroad program at the end of that course, where we'll take a week and we'll look at different farms and different organizations working on local food systems here. So we can start thinking about our own local food system in the Puget Sound area. And then we'll take that knowledge when we go to the Netherlands, which I think we'll talk about in just a minute. I'll let Steph describe the biology course.
Yep. So I'll be teaching a 1-credit special topics course in biology. So we'll be meeting for usually about 1 hour a week. We'll start that a little later in the quarter, so it'll be a late start class. And then we will mostly be identifying and learning about some topics for ecology, which is looking at the environment and the living things and how they interact, so that when we go out on those field studies to the farms and other locations, we know how to look at them from the biological perspective of like how many different kinds of things are living there, how healthy do they look, how to evaluate those sorts of things. So we'll be doing the groundwork to help us really understand when we're there on the ground, looking at either here or there in the Netherlands.
And I think I just want to emphasize what a really unique and exciting opportunity this is to do this kind of interdisciplinary work, where you're looking at something like food systems from multiple perspectives, and you're seeing how the social and the biological and ecological interact in real time. And this is a really exciting model. So we're really looking forward to doing this work with you. In terms of our trip abroad, we'll have 1 week in the Netherlands, as Megan said, and there we'll be visiting a variety of places from local farms in the Netherlands, doing more sustainable agroecology kind of food production. And we'll also spend some time looking at the distribution and consumption end of food systems, visiting some local farmers markets, speaking with farmers and speaking about both the economic dimensions of it, the ecological dimensions of what they see on their farm, and also those social relationships and interactions, how policy affects their work. And everything from the growing of food to getting it to all of us. And so that's what we'll be focusing on in the program.
Thank you both for explaining that. I hope that also means you get to eat some of the food.
Yes,
That's great.
absolutely.
Very cool. I wanted to ask a little more about this COIL virtual exchange component. Can you explain what that looks like for a student during the week? Like, are they going to Zoom with another class? Are they going to FaceTime with students? What is that going to include?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that question, Megan. So they will be over Zoom. And what's going to happen is we'll meet on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, which will actually be in the afternoon, early evening on Tuesdays and Thursdays with our Dutch counterparts. And I want to say too, our dear colleague, Dr. Elisa de Villa, is teaching the same class over there. It's a political ecology of food class. And so those are the students that we'll be working with. What we're going to do is we're going to have a lot of time for students to work in groups. So we'll establish groups. We'll do a lot of getting to know you kind of work in the beginning of the class. And then each group is going to have time during our class sessions to start to work through and develop a project together. So there will be some time outside of the class. The students will be able to coordinate to meet each other and talk through their projects if they'd like. But we're aiming to do a lot of that work 1 day a week. For the first 5 weeks of the course in groups, and each student will work in the groups with their other Dutch students.
Nice. Thanks for giving a little bit more detail about that. Is there any language requirement for students in this program?
No, not at all. That was one of the nice things about picking the Netherlands for this, is that they have a very good grasp of English. So when we went to do the site visits and get this set up, we had no trouble navigating with English. So.
Okay, that's helpful. Good to know. I think we'll move on and look at the program costs, and then we can circle back towards the end if we think of more content or course related details to share. All right, so of course, everybody wants to know, how much would the trip cost? And first of all, I will start by saying the trip to the Netherlands is optional, right? It's not required. If you're taking the sociology of food class, you don't have to do the trip. But if you want to do the trip, you need to take the bio 1 credit add-on class. And then here are the estimated costs. So when you think about studying abroad, there's kind of 3 or 4 major buckets of funds that you need to think about. Number 1 is the program fee, and that is inclusive of your housing for the week. We take care of all of those reservations for you. It takes care of your field trip or any museums that you go to with the program activities in the Netherlands. It takes care of your transportation to and from the airport in the Netherlands. We'll give you a local transit pass so you can ride the trains or the buses locally to get around the city and regionally. And we will provide emergency medical insurance coverage for everybody in case you should get sick or injured while you're there. You would have insurance to cover you. And we'll provide a pre-orientation before you go to help you prepare for what to expect on the trip. And that usually happens about 1 month before you travel. So that's the program fee. That's the main cost you see there, listed as $2,275. There's also a $200 administration fee that goes to cover operating costs of the study abroad office. And then you have to pay tuition for your 6 credits. So if you are in Running Start or if you receive financial aid that pays for your tuition already, you don't need to worry about that. That part will continue to be covered for you as usual, as long as the classes do count towards your education plan. So that's a key little bit of information for you. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to check with your academic advisor to see if that SOC 202 and the bio special topics class are going to fit within your ed plan. And if so, then you know that your financial aid or your tuition waiver for Running Start will cover you for that $822. Next, you need to think about airfare costs. We do ask students to buy their own plane tickets. We'll provide a recommended itinerary that your professors are going to be traveling on, and we hope that you will choose to travel with them, but it's not required as long as you arrive roughly at the same day and time. If you felt like you wanted to stay in the country longer afterwards, you're welcome to do that. You would just book a later return date. So this is an estimate. You will not pay this $1,450 to Green River. You'll pay it directly to whatever airfare vendor you use when you buy your tickets. Again, that's just our estimate based on market rates. Then you will have to buy your own food. So likely at the hostel or hotel where you stay for the week, there'll probably be some kind of really light breakfast available for free, but you will need to buy your own lunches and dinners. So we've made an estimate that food could cost up to about $35 a day. Of course, that varies depending on your preferences and what you like to eat. And then if you want to have like a data plan for your cell phone while you're over there, we've made an estimate that maybe that could cost around $75. So all in all, the estimated cost for this program is about $5,100. Does anybody have any questions about those costs?
I do have a question. Is any of the meals included in that program fee or none of them are?
So as I mentioned, potentially breakfast could be
Potentially
included at the hostel.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, otherwise there will not be any group meals that are included.
Also, for the optional trip, when do students have to make that choice to, for that trip?
Yeah, that's a great question. The application deadline, if you are going to do the trip, I think is February 5th. So I have the brochure here. I'll just double check. Yeah, February 5th. And then the payment of that program fee, the $2,275 plus the administration fee, those are going to be due no later than April 5th. So from the time you commit that you want to do it, you still have 2 months to come up with the funding to pay the program fee, which is nice, a little bit of a cushion. Usually we only give about a 3-week window between those, but since the trip is not happening till the end of spring quarter, there's a little bit longer deadline for payment. All right, so in order to be eligible to participate in the trip, any type of student can go, including Running Start, as long as you're at least 17 years old by the time you get on the airplane on June 20th. International students can participate, veteran students, any type of student, including non-traditional or just your average traditional student, are welcome, as long as you meet that age requirement. And you must have passed English 101 or higher by the start of spring quarter. And we do look for students to have a minimum of 2.5 cumulative GPA, mainly because we want to make sure that you can manage the unique workload that comes in this COIL course, plus the addition of being really responsible and mature during the trip. If your GPA is close to that, but not quite there yet, we're happy to talk with you and work with you. And as long as you have strong references, you're likely to be accepted. So if students are interested, like Andres was asking, here's the 4 steps you would start with. So step number 1 would be to submit an online application for study abroad due by February 5th. That application does include an essay that explains why you want to do the program and what you hope to get out of it. We do ask for 2 references who can comment on your academic ability and your reliability, your likelihood to be, a good ambassador of Green River College on the trip. And we do ask to see an unofficial copy of your transcript so we can see your GPA. Once we receive all of your application materials, including 2 letters of recommendation from those references you provide us, we'll invite you in to have an interview conversation with Andres or myself and just talk through your application, make sure that you're prepared for any challenges you might come up against on the trip. And then we let you know right away within 1 day if you've been accepted to go on the trip. And at that point, we would invite you to pay a $200 deposit, which essentially covers that study abroad administrative fee that we looked at earlier on the cost slide. We asked you to pay that within 2 weeks of your acceptance. So let's imagine that you were an early bird and you actually applied on January 1st. Not that anyone's going to be applying on New Year's Day, but if you did, say we had your interview on January 2nd and you were notified on January 3rd that you're accepted into the program. So from January 3rd, 2 weeks later, we would ask you to pay that $200 deposit by that time. And then you'd still have up until April 5th to pay the remainder of that program fee, which is listed there as step number 4. Any questions about this so far, guys? Okay. I'm going to move on to talk a little bit about scholarships and financial aid, because a lot of students do rely on additional funding to help pay for program fees or tuition. So we completely understand that. And yes, you can apply for scholarships. And yes, you can use your existing financial aid to help pay the tuition for the classes and maybe also additional money towards your program fees or even towards your airfare, depending on how much you're eligible for. So I do want to point out that on the Green River College Study Abroad website, we have some great resources available. One is the scholarships page, where we have a list of at least 20 different scholarships that you can apply for, either for study abroad or for general college purposes. And we do also have a separate page that talks about FAQs on how to use financial aid for study abroad. We're also having an information session on this topic tomorrow. So we're going to take a deep dive to look at lots of different scholarships, and we will post that recording on our website. So I encourage folks to watch that information session if you are interested in learning more about how you can apply for scholarships or how you can use your existing financial aid eligibility to help you pay for the costs. So this is information about that workshop. It's going to happen November 15th. All right, so that brings us kind of to the end of the planned content that I had in mind. Of course, we're available to answer your questions anytime if you're interested in learning more. Our email addresses are here for you on the screen. And at this time, I'm going to circle back around to Dr. Keene and Dr. Hoffman and ask, was there anything that came to mind that you wanted to add about the program that students can look forward to?
I think the only thing was that we will be primarily focusing on the plant-based agriculture, not necessarily on livestock. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're super excited to work with all of you. I think it's going to be a really fun trip. I think too, the sociology class can fulfill a social science distribution. So in taking the class, you can actually knock out some of your AA degree requirements as well, if you're getting a transfer degree. but yeah, we're really excited to see you all. So reach out if you have any questions, please don't hesitate.
Thank you. Andres, was there anything you wanted to add as well, or any questions you feel like we didn't quite cover?
No, I'm curious about life in Amsterdam. Like they're just staying at Leiden or Leiden. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. That I know is kind of close to Amsterdam, but I'm not sure if there are some tips or things that look forward for Amsterdam and the Netherlands in general that you could share.
Well, so we'll be staying in Leiden, which is much smaller city. It's a little bit more feeling like a college town. And then the train system runs right through it. And so it's an easy train ride to get to Amsterdam. So we'll probably have a day where we're in Amsterdam, where it's a lot larger, it's a lot more hectic. But yeah, we will definitely have a day there. We are finalizing locations, so I can't say exactly where we'll go there, but we'll definitely be going through Amsterdam. There's the possibility we'll go to The Hague, Rotterdam. There's a lot of cities on this train line that are very easy. And then anytime we go somewhere, if we're done with our field trip, you are free to get off the train anywhere between where you started and where you ended. So if you paid to go to The Hague, you can get off anywhere along the way back to Leiden and get back on to continue towards Leiden without that being extra cost. And there are some really cool scenic cities along that route, like Delft, home of the porcelain with the blue painting that they are known for. So.
Yeah. And I think one of the exciting things too is that people get around on bikes everywhere. So that will be part of a transportation option. And if for any reason you're mobility impaired, there are lots of other ways we can accommodate that as well. But the biking is sort of an exciting thing coming from the United States where, people on bicycles have to really watch out what they're doing and so on. Bikes sort of rule the land in the Netherlands. So that's a really fun, exciting cultural aspect of this whole thing.
So if you're doing this, I would recommend starting to learn how to ride a bicycle. Dr. Keen is quite fast on a bicycle.
Have you guys been there over the spring? Like, how's the weather over there during that time?
So
Lovely.
yeah. So when we went last summer at right around the same time that we'll be doing the trip, I think the lows were in the 50s, but they were in the middle of a heat wave. So they got into the 80s and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're hoping that won't happen. They don't have a lot of air conditioning, just like here in Western Washington. But it still got quite pleasant in the evenings. So we'll definitely be watching the forecast so that as we get closer to the trip, we can give more informed weather predictions. But it was beautiful when we were there.
Yeah,
so
really nice.
Nice, thank you.
How far is it from Leiden to Amsterdam?
About a half hour, was it? 35 minutes, about 35 minutes on the train.
Okay.
Everything's a very small country. One of the exciting things too that we'll have an opportunity to do, so we'll be able to visit these farms and be able to visit farmers markets and things like that. But there's also some really interesting history around windmills and power and energy in this area. So we'll also be exploring those dimensions of the Netherlands, looking at some of the cultural and historical aspects about the country and the people. So that's something to look forward to also.
And I don't think it's going to be part of our planned activities, but like in the Anne Frank house is there, and you could go to Amsterdam and spend some time doing the Anne Frank house tour and learning about that history. So
that raises a question. I wonder, like, how long are the days going to be when because you're only there for 7 days? Like how long, and like what will your kind of start and end times be?
Yeah, so we'll be starting in the mornings, and most of the activities will be, pretty full days, from like 9 to 5, but students will have the afternoons to be able to, look around, explore the city a bit. One of the things that's really fantastic about the Netherlands is it's a really safe place. And I think that was something that is, especially as women, It was really nice to be able to walk around and feel safe. That said, we're going to be doing a lot of work with the students about, you know, if you do go out anywhere, make sure you travel in groups or at the very minimum pairs. We'll be talking a lot about, you know, how do you travel abroad safely and responsibly? This is Stephanie and I, Dr. Hoffman and I will be, you know, available to help in all of that. We'll always be nearby if you have questions or anything like that. But yeah, those are some of the things actually that we'll be talking about as part of the bio class, to introduce students to everything from, you know, what to expect cross-culturally, how do we be good ambassadors of the college and of whatever home countries we're coming from, and really how to travel safely and in a way that we can really enjoy all of our time together.
That sounds great. And just another plug for that pre-departure orientation meeting that we'll also hold, and we'll reinforce those ideas. And then anything else logistically that you don't get to cover in that class, we'll spend a Saturday talking through that, just so students feel really well prepared on what to expect, especially if you haven't traveled outside the country before, or maybe haven't traveled alone. Although you won't really be alone because you'll be with the group the whole time. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your time. I invite students to follow up with us over email or schedule an appointment with any of us if you're interested to learn more. So I'll go ahead and stop the recording.